Intimate partner violence is particularly common among African American women. The National Crime Victimization Survey revealed that self-reported rates of intimate partner violence are highest among African American women and women in lower income categories. Also in women from the ages from 16 to 24. Researchers reported that neighborhood poverty is associated with an increased risk of intimate partner violence, particularly among African Americans. It has been reported that 31% of female African American intimate partner victims were depressed, compared with 14% of white intimate partner violence victims. Researchers found that both physical and non-physical intimate partner violence are risk factors for suicide attempts among African American women. Intimate partner violence has been linked to African American women who experience emotional and sexual abuse. As a result, most intimate partner violence receives treatment for mental health disorders and their abuse. African American women who are struggling with untreated mental health or psychosocial issues often identify their world as problem saturated. Reason being is their cognition directs them to identify with the emotions of hopelessness, discouragement, and judgment. The warning signs of intimate partner violence are injuries and excuses. In some cases, bruises and injuries may occur frequently and be in obvious places. Absences from work or school, low self-esteem, personality changes, fear of conflict, passive-aggressive behavior, self-blame, and isolation and control. Right now, I'm going to interview a young lady, African American woman, who's 23 years of age. She's from Baltimore City. She's from the Northern Parkway and Loch Raven area in Northeast Baltimore. She's been a victim of intimate partner violence.
Hello.
Hello. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience with intimate partner violence?
Yes, so the experience started when I was 18 years old. I was in a relationship with a guy who we were together for 6 months, and he always wanted to be around me. Excuse me. So I thought I got lucky because I didn't have to go through some of the things that my girlfriends did, if their boyfriends like not wanting to be around. But one day, I was at work, and he came to pick me up, and he thought I was talking to another guy. So we were kind of going back and forth about that. Excuse me. And then he ended up smacking me in my ear.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit more about how did you feel and what was the result from the issue when your boyfriend put his hands on you?
So when he smacked me, it was like I was in disbelief. I didn't know what happened. You know, it was just like a quick smack out of the blue. And then he started apologizing, and I could just remember telling myself that I was gonna, tell someone to get him in trouble. But then by the time he dropped me off home, he was apologizing, telling me about his childhood, how it was abusive, so I kind of forgave him and never said anything.
Okay. Have you ever experienced intimate partner violence in another relationship?
Yes, after that relationship, that was tumultuous. It ended really bad with us going to court and things like that. And then I got into another relationship, but the violence wasn't physical, it was more financial.
More financial, okay. Have you, as a result of the two domestic disputes, do you consider yourself having some kind of mental health condition due to those incidents with intimate partner violence?
No, I don't think I have any mental health problems. I didn't seek mental health treatment at all. I ended up going to the ER with the first guy, and then a social worker from the House of Ruth kind of stepped in because he hit me in my mouth.
Okay. What kind of interventions did the House of Ruth give you? With when you were assessed and treated.
Well, when I was assessed and treated, I initially told a story about how I was hit in my mouth. I told the social worker that I was fighting someone, and somehow I guess she kind of knew what was going on. So she came in the room with another social worker, and they asked me if I knew about what domestic violence was. And I told them, yeah, kinda. And they started explaining to me what it was, and then gave me pamphlets, told me to call the House of Ruth to get an advocate, things like that. So that's how I started getting treatment. I was embarrassed.
Okay. How long were you in treatment? Was it a long time or?
The first time I think I was in treatment for less than a month.
Less than a month?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think you need more treatment?
When I got out of the second relationship, I spent a year in treatment.
A year of treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Have it affected you in your current relationship, or if you are in a relationship?
Just I'm nervous a lot. And I have a lot of flashbacks.
A lot of flashbacks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you me interviewing you, and I hope that all goes well and you don't have to have any more experiences with intimate partner violence.
Thank you.
To propose a solution for intimate partner violence, I believe that a clinician should implement psychotherapy in their treatment plan. This will allow the clinician to help keep the client engaged through appropriate and culturally sensitive methods to assist this population. Furthermore, the clinician should always respect the client's rights to promote a spirit of openness and trust between them. In addition, there are several coping questions that the clinician should ask the victim. This includes types of questions that is geared to the individual's strength and resources, which are crucial in forming a solution-focused alliance with the client and encouraging movement forward. Murray and Graves 2012 for interventionist strategies suggests that safety must be the primary condition. Safety risks associated with any counseling interventions must be considered and carefully monitored. Conjoint treatment is not advised for couples experiencing intimate partner violence due to the safety risks that may arise. Clinicians are to ensure that counseling occurs within a supportive and non-judgmental context. It is not the job of the counselor to decide whether the client should leave his or her abusive partner. Furthermore, in many cases, leaving increases the client's immediate safety risk when involved in an intimate partner violence situation, and these issues should be considered. Counseling topics that can be addressed including the following: self-esteem, psychoeducation about intimate partner violence, co-occurring mental health and substance abuse issues, coping skills, emotional expression, linking the client to social support, and assisting the client with practical needs that may make it difficult for the client to seek safety. Post-traumatic stress disorder is one of the most prevalent mental disorders found in women in abusive relationships, and counselors should provide evidence-based treatment to address any PTSD-related symptoms. PTSD is related to a risk of further re-victimization. Thus, the resolution of trauma is an important treatment for goal. There are very few evidence-based approaches to conducting therapy with battering victims. However, approaches that have been discussed in the literature include the following: Exposure-based cognitive behavioral approaches are recommended as frontline treatments for people in abusive relationships who have trauma reactions. Helping to overcome PTSD through empowerment, which is a shelter-based program to address PTSD symptoms. Narrative therapy, which Brosey and Rall in 2010 assert can help victims develop new narratives of their lives as they move forward. Counselors should coordinate their services with other involved agencies and resources from which the decline is also seeking help, including victim advocates, law enforcement, and child protection services. This digital essay was done by Jemuel Godwin. I'm thankful and appreciative for doing this digital essay because this shed light on victims of intimate partner violence. Thank you.